Pregame Coaches Show, brought to you by the Bill Bryan Automotive Group in the beautiful Fruitland Park area. Give them a call today at 352-787-2223. That's 787-2223. And don't forget, this Friday night will be a live football game at Leesburg High School, and be starting at 7 o'clock. Lakefront TV will be there. They'll be filming it, and great sponsors such as Matthias Food Service, Bloom's Baking House, helping to make that possible as well. And we're right back at you guys.
All right. So home game, obviously. Going back to your last game, and it's hard to keep up with the last week or when we played the last time, 11 days ago.
The horror show.
Defensively, what? And the reason why I bring that up, we got one of your defensive guys with us, and we'll get to him in a minute. Defensively, what has to change to stop the run? I mean, it seems like it was the up-the-middle runs and now the sweeps. What has to change on the defensive line? I wish we had the defensive coach here with us, but
we have to.
He's doing push-ups.
We have to tackle better. It's like defensive coaches were down after that game, and it's like I told them schematically, the game plan was fine.
Right.
There were a lot of times we were in position to make plays, but we didn't make the play. So it's not a deal where scheme is a problem or fundamentals or coaching. Our guys have to play better. They have to take more pride in playing defense. And, but offensively, we gave up 7 of those points.
Right.
Pick six.
Pick 6.
So that plays into it as well. But we just have to tackle better. And one thing, too, East Ridge had a kid on that team that we just don't have. We don't have a kid like that Watkins kid. I mean,
number 1.
Yes, he's a phenomenal athlete. Last year he was considered the number 1 athlete in America. So we don't have guys like that right now. We have hard-nosed kids that play hard for us and try to do what we want them to do, but we don't have that dynamic, athletic kid.
Right.
We just don't have them. So as coaches, we have to try to figure out ways to put these guys in positions to be successful.
Now, when you say the tackling, Coach, are you talking more like gang tackling or just wrapping up? Or?
I would love gang tackling, but wrapping up, we'll be there. We're hitting people and not tackling people. I hate it when I hear the term people say, you don't want to arm tackle. Well, I'll take an arm tackle because if you tackle them, that means they're down.
Right.
But we're not bringing people to the ground. I mean, we'll hit a guy, have him for a 6-yard loss, and they end up picking up 14 positive yards.
Yeah.
So we had some breakdowns defensively. Guys didn't play the coverage that was called, and we got beat deep on some passes that we shouldn't have gotten beat. So it's just a matter of getting the guys coached up and getting the guys to go out and execute the game plan and do the things they've been taught to do.
Yeah, that was one thing that we noticed. If we go back to the Eustis game, that was one thing we noticed. Seemed like a lot of plays that should have went for a loss ended up going for a game.
That killed us in the Eustis game.
That was tough. That was tough. A lot of inside runs, a lot
Right.
of traps. It just seemed like they just kept moving the ball downfield on you guys. The edges weren't too bad. It seemed like you guys did a good job containing the edges, but it was just the inside traps that were just tough. It seemed like that's what they used, positive yards.
One thing that's killing us, and you guys, I don't know if you can see this from the booth, but when we're going in to make tackles, guys have their heads down.
Right.
We teach, see what you hit and hit what you see. And we're not doing that right now. We're ducking our heads. And if you're looking at grass, you don't know what the guy's doing that you're trying to tackle. So it's just some things we have to get better at, and I think we will. And I'm hoping that happens Friday night.
Right. And you're playing – who are we playing this week? Forest?
Ocala Forest,
okay,
yes.
Ocala Forest. A home game, second home game of the season.
Correct.
What and to go back to what you said about the not having that talent on your team, and how do you even reproduce that to give your defense an idea of what they're going to face? I mean, a lot of, you can say, hey, he is athletic, but the speed that he had off the edges was – I mean, how do you reproduce that or practice against that?
Well, you don't.
You don't.
You do film study, and what we try to do is show our guys the plays and formations that the other team likes to run. But as far as reproducing it,
Right.
depending on who we're playing, that's kind of hard to do. Forest, the problem that Forest will present is that they're very strong. They're not going to have any kid out there like Justin Watkins, but they're going to be hard-nosed, strong kids. Their weightlifting team won districts this past year, and a lot of those guys on the weightlifting team, they're on the football team.
Right.
So they're going to be strong, but I've seen some things in film. If we show up to play, I think we can do what we need to do to score more points than they do.
Right.
Mount Dora played them really tough, made some mistakes in crucial situations, and Forrest was able to pull the game out. I don't want you to think what I said earlier. I don't want you to think that I'm saying we don't have the guys to win. We just don't have guys like that Watkins kid. But that's my job as coach, to put our guys in a system that they can be successful. And I think we are going to be successful. I love my guys. Right now, if East Ridge told me I could have Justin Watkins and they take 2 or 3 of mine, I wouldn't make that trade.
Right.
I love my guys, and we came into the season together, and we're going to go out the season together.
That says a lot for a coach.
Yeah.
Really says a lot for a coach.
And like you said, and I didn't mean it as you don't have the talent, but game planning for that talent. You know what I mean? That speed.
Yeah,
it's just like a boxer. I mean, it's going to happen. You just got to slow it down. And like you said, I've seen a lot of instances on the defense that you had them contained in the backfield. It just they missed the tackle.
Right.
And that happened a lot more in this last game and in a lot of cases. And again, Saturday, whenever you called in, I remember you saying that a lot of the weightlifting team is on this team as well. How do you keep your team defensively, and maybe the Coach Freeze does this, with the score like it was? How do you keep them defensively from not giving up? I mean, and they did in this game for the most part, but it's like...
It's a culture we have. These guys know that giving up is not an option. That's not who we are, and that's not who we're going to be. And I don't ever worry about them giving up. That was when I came in as coach. That was one of the first things we talked about. And so far, these guys have done that, and that's why I said I wouldn't trade them for anybody.
Right.
They're going to work, and when we get down, we feel like as long as there's time on the clock, we have an opportunity because we can score quickly.
You can score, yeah.
But we just got to do a better job offensively of taking advantage of each opportunity we get. And we're not that far away defensively. We made some mistakes in that game. But we're going to get that cleaned up. And, that game was tough on a lot of our guys. I know David here, the kid that was killed a few weeks ago, was a friend of his, and Dave and a couple more of the guys that same day were pallbearers at his funeral.
Right.
So
he's an ex-player for Leesburg?
Yeah, he played before I got there. But I'm not making excuses. East Ridge went out and won the game. But, as a human, stepping out of my coaching shoes, I know as young men that had to be on their minds.
Oh, yeah.
But as I told them, if they live long enough, they're going to know a lot of more dead people. And when loved ones die, that's not an excuse for us to stop. And we still have to strive to be the best at what we do, whether that's football, or whether that's being a father or citizen or employee. So I hate that a young man lost his life. But at the same time, since it did happen, this was a learning opportunity for these guys.
Right.
And because, as I said, if they live long enough, they're going to face death again with someone closer to them than a former teammate. So
I'm sorry to hear about your loss as well. Now, from your perspective, you want to introduce him to our audience?
This is the lovable and handsome David Robinson, not the admirable, not the admiral, but he is admirable. And this guy here, when I first got the job, I really didn't think we were going to get along.
No?
I was watching him in the weight room. I wasn't real sold on his work ethic. But as time went on, he's probably the smartest football player on our team. And he knows his assignments. He knows everyone else's assignments. I was telling his mom this summer, I love this kid. And I love what he brings to our team. And I don't know what his future plans are, but if he decides to go into coaching, he would be a great coach. I mean,
Oh, wow.
I think the world of this young man. I'd like to see him make more tackles, but I'm not going to mention that on the air. But, no, I love Dave.
So, David, playing against East Ridge, how much of their offense surprised you, and how much of it did you already know was going to, the plays that they're running and their athletic ability was on the field? How much of it were you ready for?
I mean, our coaches told us what they were going to run, and our coaches was calling the plays out, but we weren't wrapping up. Everybody wasn't in that assigned gap, and plays that should have been stopped kept hitting, and they just kept getting extra yards when we could have stopped them in the backfield.
Right. Now, number one, obviously, the last name is Watkins.
Watkins
is the star of the team, obviously. Were you surprised by the speed of their offense at all?
No, sir. We played him last year. I already knew what his abilities were. I'm not going to say he did the same thing last year, but he did most of it. When he get away, it's hard to catch him. It's hard to bring him down. And
they run the same type of offense that they had last year?
Well, see, last year he played at Vanguard.
Okay.
And this is his first year
at East Ridge. Were you surprised from the outside looking in? Their offense is pretty dynamic as far as the play calling. It's not your typical, and maybe I'm wrong, high school type offense that they run. It's to me it's more of a college style offense. They spread out the defense, but they still have a lot of option in that spread.
In a lot of ways, they run the same offense in a lot of ways as we do, and Eustis. Well, a lot of schools now, they run that spread, and they throw in some trick plays.
Right, they did.
But as far as their base offense, it's just your run-of-the-mill spread. They just, some people have Corvettes in there, and then some people have Pintos. And they happen to be a team that has Corvettes. But
and they weren't too much, like you said, they weren't too much different from Eustis. And I'm glad you brought that up. They had the speedster in the back with Bugs running for Eustis. From your vantage point on defense, what is it going to take to clean up the little mistakes that you have? Because that's the difference between a first down and a loss of 5. In a lot of cases, from the outside looking in, you guys were there for the tackle. It just didn't happen on the field. So how far are you guys away from cleaning up the little bit of stuff that we see from the outside, from your vantage point?
We're not that far. We go through it every day in practice on wrap up, what gaps you're supposed to be in, your assignment on the field, and we practice wrap up every day, and we're not that far away from it. We're in our right gap. We're in the right spots to make the play. It's just all about making a play.
With that being said, how do you stay mentally focused in a game that you are so far behind on defense? You play both sides of the field, and we'll get to the offensive aspect of it. But defensively, how do you keep in a game that you're so far down?
Just bring everybody up. This one play could be a turning point at any time. If you make a fumble, that could change the momentum of the game.
Right.
And a turnover, that's what our coaches key in on. 3 turnovers a day, 3 turnovers a game. We try to get 3. We get motivated to get them turnovers. Let us get some rest, put the offense on the field, put some points up on the board, and then they get sluggish, and we keep hitting them. So.
In the game before, speaking about Eustis, I got you here. That's why I'm asking. You guys were able to create turnovers, especially towards your side of the field. How much of that changed? Because off those turnovers, you had a lot of scores behind that as well. So with the turnovers being produced, obviously that's what the coaches are preaching in practice. The turnovers are what help you shift the momentum. Did you see that on the offensive side of the ball against East Ridge?
Yes, I seen when the pick got thrown, nobody tried to catch him, everybody walked. Then on special teams, everybody not going hard off that one play. One play, yeah, it was a mistake, but you can flip the switch back. You can get another turnover, you can get another stop, and people start getting sluggish, slowing down, not performing to their abilities.
Yeah, that was just like, what was the first game of the season? Was it Citrus?
Citrus was
The
a preseason,
preseason
and then
classic,
South
yes.
Sumter.
South Sumter. That was the game, the first game I went to, and you guys, they brought it into the red zone. I think they were a goal line, and you guys were able to force a couple turnovers. Which was a big break, and just like David was saying, I mean, that's all it takes, just that one fumble, could turn the ball over and change the momentum. So that was positive seeing that, in the first game. Then, like I said, in Eustis, just seems like defensively it was the run game that I seen that was hurting you guys. East Ridge, I was unable to make it to that game, but it seems like this guy was running all over the place. But it just seems like a lot of work has to get done on the tackling and the inside runs. Your position again.
We'll go to the break.
He's a hybrid.
We'll touch on that when we come out of this break.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to take a real quick break. This is the pregame sports coaches show brought to you by Bill Bryan Automotive Group in Fruitland Park, and also Lakefront TV. Going to be there tomorrow night Friday night filming the game. And you don't want to miss it, folks. If you have an opportunity to go to the football game, go there. If you can't, you can watch it on Prism HD 1021, Prism 21, Comcast 22, Spectrum 497, Roku device, and you can watch it at lakefronttv.com. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.